Hi everyone, this is Stacy, and this video is a demonstration of how to complete an employee note, a performance improvement plan, or employee warning notice in Paylocity using the journal entry feature. From the landing page, you'll select HR and Payroll from the top left, and then click Performance from the pop-out menu. That's going to take you to the Performance section of the system, and it will default to the My Team tab. You'll see your team members listed here toward the bottom of the page. Select Create Journal, and the journal entry template will pop out. You can select the template you'd like to use, and primarily that will be either a note, an employee warning notice, or a performance improvement plan. If you'd like clarification on the differences between those three options, feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to talk that through with you. Next, you are going to enter the name of the person the note is about, and you can either scroll through the drop-down menu or start typing the person's name and then select it from the menu item. You can have multiple people on the About field, so if this is a note and there are a couple or multiple people involved, then you can add them all on the same note if the information is going to be the same for all of them, instead of having to do individual notes for each person. For additional contributors, if this is something that needs involvement from perhaps another manager or someone who's going to be doing some training with this person for an performance improvement plan, anything like that, you can list an additional contributor. I don't recommend listing a peer here because that's not usually going to turn out very well if you have their coworkers involved in any sort of notes or warning notices or anything like that. So typically this is going to be either a fellow supervisor or perhaps even your supervisor contributing to this note or performance improvement plan or warning notice. You have the option to select whether or not you'd like to share this with the About individual. On the note template, it's going to default to no. On the employee warning notice and the performance improvement plan, it will default to yes, because those two items you absolutely do want to share with that individual. On the note, you can use your discretion. So if this is something that you're just looking to document, it could be an issue, but we're not really sure at this point. You just want to make sure you document it in case it does become a larger issue down the road. You can always refer back to it, and you don't feel the need to share it with this person at that point in time. You don't have to do that. You can, however, use notes for positive praise and recognition as well if you'd like to. So in that situation, obviously you would want to share that with the individual to let them know that you appreciate the work that they're doing. So again, your discretion on the note as to whether or not you want to share that. With an employee warning notice and with the performance improvement plan, you do want to absolutely share that with the individual. You also have the option to select whether or not this is only visible to you. It defaults to no, and there would be very rare situations that you wouldn't want other people to be able to access this. So this would be people who might be your additional contributors. This would be HR, or perhaps in the future if that employee has a new supervisor, if they get transferred to another department or another part of the company and they have notes in the system, a new supervisor would want to be able to access that information. So if you're ever thinking that this should only be visible to you, check in with me. We can talk about what makes the most sense, but it's only going to be in very special circumstances that you wouldn't want to have that at least visible to HR and potentially other supervisors down the road. For the note, you can also enter a title. You can simply leave it as note, or you can make that whatever you want it to be. You're going to complete the note information here in this box. There's an option for keyword tags. It's not required, but if you want to categorize this under any of these tags, you certainly can. If there's a tag that you feel like should be on there that isn't listed, feel free to let me know and we can get that added to the system. Keyword tags are going to be helpful if, for example, you supervise several people and you might want to look back and see how many journal entries are related to productivity, and if you are finding that you are continuing to have problems with productivity over a period of time with a number of people, then this might be something that's helpful to you because you can easily pull out that information by searching for that keyword tag. So again, it's not required, completely up to you if you want to use that, and if you want to add something that isn't there, let me know and we'll make that happen for you. You can also add attachments, so if you have an email or some other documentation that you want to attach to this journal entry, you can do that here. You can either drag and drop it or click inside this gray box and upload that information. You have the option to save this as a draft, so if you're working on it and you get sidetracked and you need to come back to it later, you can obviously save it as a draft. Nobody sees it besides you if it's a draft. It doesn't get processed through the system. It's just going to be available for you to come back to later if you need to complete. If you are finished with it, you would just click save, and then that is going to be available to you and anyone that you've listed here in the about or for the additional contributors. To find that journal entry after you have completed it, you're going to select the Journals tab here. And you want to check your filters. Sometimes I have funky filters that show up here, so just make sure if your information isn't showing up here, check your filters just to make sure there isn't anything blocking those journal entries from showing up for you. So I took that filter off, and now I can see Chloe has a journal entry, Stephanie has a couple. I can click inside here and it will open up the detail of that journal entry, and I'll be able to see what notes are recorded in there. From this page, you can also create an entry for the journal. So previously we got there under the My Team tab. You can also get there from the Journals tab. And so you can, again, select Note, Employee Warning Notice. And you'll notice on here, again, this defaults to yes with the share with the About individual, and there are some specific questions that you actually have to answer. It's not open-ended like the note is. And then the same thing with the Performance Improvement Plan. There are specific descriptions and actions that you have to document here for this particular form. So that is it. Journal entries, employee warning notices, and notes. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me, Stephanie, or Chloe, and we're happy to help out in any way that we can.